Präsentation natürlich für euch auf Englisch. Simultanübersetzung läuft hier im Untertitel mit. Und ansonsten würde ich sagen, ein großer Applaus für Neu!
Thanks so much, Nima. I can't express how excited all of ArenaNet is to be here and be showing off the brand new demo for you guys. I mean, it's exciting to see all these people here and at the booth, and just it's just amazing for us. So if you'll indulge me for a second, I need to take a couple pictures of this amazing crowd. Alright, so last year at Gamescom, we debuted Guild Wars 2 for the first time ever playable. And, you know, a lot has changed. We've done a lot of work, we've, you know, kind of evolved things, but we wanted to keep something simple for you guys. So last year we showed the human starting experience, we showed you the Char mid-level experience, and now at this year's Gamescom, all 5 races are playable. So we brought back the human experience, a little more refined this time, but we've added to them the Char starting experience, which has never been seen before, and the Norn starting experience. The mid-level experience has been handed off to the Asura and the Sylvari. On top of this, we've added character customization to the project, so when you roll up a brand new character, you can choose your face, change your hairs, that kind of stuff. And also, for the first time ever, PvP is now playable at Gamescom. So let's get to the demo. So Matt, also one of the designers, is behind stage helping me drive through this. So Matt, why don't you make us a really cool looking Asura? So 7 of the 8 professions, all the ones that we've announced, are playable here at Gamescom. Unfortunately, we're not here to announce the 8th profession. You'll have to wait for that one a little bit longer. But today we're going to show off the Guardian. So everything you see here is just the beginning. We're adding brand new features left and right. Each day there's brand new selections, additional things that you can do. We're also going to we have some sliders so you can create a little bit of customization, but not too much that allows you to make very silly looking characters. So Matt's going to run through this pretty quickly. For a more in-depth look, come back for our other presentation where we'll go through the human experience, or the human character customization, and we'll show you all of the amazing options we got. So the new map we're showing off today for you guys is called Sparkfly Fen. This is an area that's a jungle environment that the undead dragon Zaitan, his minions, are in constant battle over this land. There's a couple of human organizations like the Vigil and the Wild Hunt who are actually out here fighting, trying to keep the peace and trying to prevent Zaitan's minions from taking over. So the Guardian is a pretty amazing, very supportive character, but at the same time has a lot of punch. You'll notice in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, there's a little fire effect that's going on. And this is tied to what we call the Virtue system. The Virtue of Justice allows the Guardian so that every 5th attack that he does will cause burning on the target. The other 2 virtues he has is the Virtue of Resolve, which gives him additional health regeneration, and the Virtue of Courage, which allows him once every 30 seconds or so to basically shrug off an incoming attack. But the Guardian isn't a selfish character. He can actually sacrifice the benefits that he's getting to give it to all allies around him. This includes people who are in your party and people who are not as well. So when he sacrifices the virtue of justice, all nearby players are going to have the ability to cause burning to their next attack. Sacrificing the virtue of resolve will allow everybody to get additional bonus health regeneration, and sacrificing the virtue of courage allows everybody to block their next incoming attack. This is pretty powerful. The other unique combat mechanic that the Guardian has is he's got what we call symbols, which he can actually draw on the ground, which will do damage and effects to enemy targets who are there, but at the same time it'll heal or give defensive bonuses to players who are in the same area. Once again, we've designed Guild Wars 2 so that we want you to explore, we want you to have fun, but we also want you to be excited when there are other players there with you. We don't want you to feel like, oh man, there's another player, I need to go find another place to play. So, as always, if you're attacking the same targets, you're going to both get experience, you're both going to get loot. It's not like you're stealing kills at all. So, Matt is showing us the Ash Horizon. This is a pirate ship that has been corrupted by Zhaitan's power and has been risen to the surface. It is assaulting a vigil camp on the beach with hordes and hordes of undead. And this is one of our elite events. This is an event where you need a lot of people to come together and band together to force the ship back. And we do that a couple ways. The first is you'll notice that there's some siege equipment here. We have some catapults that will actually direct damage the ship and will help you destroy it. There's also some cannons that are along the beach and further back that will allow players to directly damage the undead hordes that are coming in. And if the undead overwhelm you and they take out some of the siege equipment, fear not, because there are actual engineers, NPCs that are there, that will repair the siege equipment for you so you can get back into the fight. And if, unfortunately, the undead kill the engineer, well, in Guild Wars 2, everybody can res. So you just walk up, you interact with the guy, you get him back up on his feet, and he's going to repair the equipment for you. And again, we're going with a very visceral, very dynamic combat, so you want to be on the move. You want to keep casting your skills and abilities. You don't want to be stationary. Positionary targeting really matters here. So the Guardian is really about controlling position with the symbols. He's got a couple shields he can throw down. And he can defend his allies when they're under attack. One thing I didn't really mention about the Sir, but you can tell really easily, is there's a lot of character, a lot of attitude that we put in these animations. So they're a very fun and playful race in that regard. Because there's nothing more exciting than seeing a very small guy wielding a very big hammer. Alright, so now let's go take a look at underwater combat. This is another thing that we're showing off here at Gamescom. So some of you who are familiar with Guild Wars 1 will recognize that we still have our fast travel system, so it's really easy to get around the map. If you want to go hang out with your friend in one location and you're in another, it's really easy to just teleport really quickly to there. So just like how we've done the very action-oriented combat for on land, we've also done the same thing underwater. But some of the combat mechanics just don't make sense, like trying to do an area of effect placement on the ground. It doesn't work underwater because of the 3D environment. So we did a couple things. First off, we want to make sure you weren't playing the UI. You didn't need a breath meter that was telling you that you needed a certain amount of oxygen left before you're dying, so that's gone. We've added basically a breathing apparatus to every single player so you can go and explore and swim and not have to worry about that. The second thing that we've done is that we've changed out the weapon skills. So all 5 weapons that he's now using are based on aquatic weapons. So like tridents, spears, and harpoons. This allows us to do kind of some unique things in the water. Where like before, the Guardian would place like a wall on the ground that protect you. Now he can do things like put up a barrier or a wall of spears made out of light that when enemies swim through it, will get bleeding will be attached to them. And if you drag them back and forth, then you're going to start stacking the bleeding. So there's a lot more movement based in the whole 3D environment. And just like on land, he can swap weapons in combat and can basically determine whether he wants to be more of a ranged character or switch to kind of a close-up melee character. This is all at your control. The other kind of cool thing, like he just did a Pillar of Light, which is this AoE, but it's also in this very 3D-based spear, so that any enemy who's in there is going to take damage. And he's also got an ability that he can actually put on an enemy that will actually drag them down towards the bottom of the ocean. Like, we're really giving this whole kind of the aspect of controlling the 3D environment. So for some of you who weren't familiar or didn't see last year's presentations or demos, the first 5 skills on the bar are based on which weapons you're actually using. So if it's a two-handed weapon, all 5 are based on that. Or if you only have a one-handed weapon like a sword and a shield, the first 3 weapon skills will be based on your main hand, and the second 2 will be on your offhand. The number 6 skill is the heal. Every class has their own heal. They all work a little bit differently and give you some unique mechanics. Like in the Guardian's case, if he uses a heal, he'll create a bubble around him that will protect him while he's healing himself. So some of the deck building that we had in Guild Wars 1 comes into play is this 7 through 9 skill. 7 through 9 are utilities. These are things that you'll earn along the way and allows you to kind of customize it. These will be things like being able to jump to a target location and do extra damage and things like that. And then finally, the number 0 skill here is your elite. If you remember elite skills from Guild Wars 1, they were pretty powerful. In Guild Wars 2, we took it to the extreme. So you're going to be doing massive damage with these things, or there's some very unique mechanics that happen with this. This is basically going to be the ability you're going to use when you know you're in trouble. And you know it wouldn't be a Gamescom demo if we didn't show you another massive fight. Another amazing encounter that is complicated, but at the same time very engaging and requiring a lot of players. Last year we showed you the Shatterer, a dragon minion that was in the brand. But this year, as soon as Matt gets out of combat, we'll show you another one. So, may I present to you Tequatl. This is a undead dragon, another minion of Zhaitan, and by the way, this is one of our small dragons. Zhaitan is much, much bigger. So this encounter has a lot of mechanics that are going on. You'll notice that he's created these giant bone walls in front of him that basically are protecting him from the siege equipment, the turrets, that the Asura and the Hylek are frog-like people who have built up on the shore. Players need to burn down the bone walls so they can attack. The other thing he does is, like this tendril that you're seeing right now is an actual finger of him. He'll drive his hands into the ground and create these tendrils that'll come up, and they'll basically fling players towards the dragon so he can do massive breath attacks and a lot of poison AoE damage. And like I said, in the back here you can see there are 2 types of turrets. We have the Asura lightning turrets, which do a good amount of damage that also bounces between targets, and the Hylek poison turrets, which just do a good ground-based targeting damage. Tequatl occasionally also flies up in the air and spits out giant pools of poison. In addition to that, creates these bloated creepers. These are large abominations that basically will walk towards players, and if they hit them, they will explode and do a ton of poison damage in a large area. This fight is about control, getting the creepers away from other players and being able to control where the actual damage is going to be. So as you can see, we probably have about 30-40 people from here on the show floor, but also back at ArenaNet. Devs are staying up late in order to play with you guys and let you get the full experience out of this game. So the other cool thing about this encounter is that there's a giant mega laser in the back that you saw just fire off that will hit Tequatl, stun him, and basically allow players to get in and do a ton of damage. But they have to be quick about it because at the same time, as soon as he gets back up, he's going to start doing a boatload of damage. It's going to just wipe the floor. So here you're seeing tons of players working together in order to defeat this encounter. You've got guys who are breaking down the bone walls and the tendrils and keeping off the hordes of undead from destroying the siege equipment in the back. You've also got a ton of characters up front who are attacking him directly. And you've also got people who are running around resurrecting each other. And here you see that the players here were able to band together and take this guy down. And what's a giant encounter without some loot? So everybody who participated in this encounter, whether it's just a little bit or was there for the entire thing, is going to get something out of this chest. The more you participate, the more we're going to give you, the more we're going to reward you. So there isn't anything about competing for loot, competing for prizes. This is everything that everybody gets. They're going to each get something that they can either use or they can sell or trade to other players. So the final thing is that this was just like any of our other dynamic events. So these are going to scale. The more people that show up, maybe we'll give the boss a couple of additional abilities, or he'll get an additional life, or it'll be a little bit harder. But all the while, we're encouraging players to come together, band together, and do some, come for a common goal, common objective in order to take these guys down. And apparently Matt's having a good time at Gamescom. So I want to thank you guys all for coming out here and taking a look at our demo. We have another demonstration that we're going to be doing this afternoon. We also have 10 playable PvP stations at the ESL booth in the back corner. And there's some exhibition matches where some of the devs will be playing a guild boon control up on the demonstration floor. I can't stress enough, we're really excited about this, but what it really comes down to is you guys should get your hands on the demo stations, play the game, and let us know what you think, because realistically, we're making this game for you guys. We want you guys to be excited about this just as much as we are. Thanks, guys.